Hey, everybody. My name is Josh Leporati, a customer experience PM on the Scale team here at Microsoft. I'm joined today by Alan Smith. Hey, Alan.
Hi, everyone. My name's Alan Smith. I am Customer Experience PM here in the Scale team with responsibility for the Microsoft Tech community.
In today's short walkthrough, we're going to introduce user groups on the tech community and explain what they are, how they've evolved over the year, and show both a members and community leaders guide on how to get involved and how to get started. Whether you're looking for a local user group, a technology focused community, or you're interested in starting your own group, this guide will walk you through all of the basics. So, Alan, why don't we jump in and just show them and talk about what user groups are?
Okay, yeah. A user group is a community-led space inside the Microsoft Tech community that brings together people who have a common interest in a particular technology or product. It's often grouped around geographic region, but not always. Unlike traditional product forums, these spaces are owned and managed by community members themselves. Groups can host discussions, answer questions, organize events, and build a dedicated community around a particular topic or technology. And each group provides a branded home where members can connect, collaborate, and share knowledge with others who have similar interests. So, why does all that matter? So user groups help make a large community feel much more personal. At general availability, when we first launched the user groups, there were more than 18 groups that we'd already onboarded, and the platform had introduced a fully self-service group creation process, which would mean that the community leaders could come in and launch and manage their own spaces without raising support requests with our team directly. Over multiple releases, we've continued to invest in those experiences, making it easier for organizers to build thriving communities and for members to find conversations that matter to them. In short, user groups create smaller communities within the broader Microsoft Tech community, helping members build deeper connections around specific interests, products, and technologies. In terms of what is coming for user groups in the future, user groups continue to evolve, as I say, since our initial launch. The first release introduced core foundations, including community-led spaces and deep linking capabilities. And we continue to expand the experience with self-service hub creation improvements and browsing experiences. More recently, enhancement added capabilities such as member-only messages, location metadata, custom group banners, and giving organizers greater flexibility in creating unique and engaging spaces. As we continue to move forward, we're looking at, for example, ways to add analytics so that you can see the effect that your user group is having both within your community and in the wider tech community as a whole. This represents our ongoing investment and reflects our commitment to helping communities grow and thrive.
Let's take a look at what's available inside of a typical user group. User groups, again, provide this dedicated space for discussions and question and answers where members can share knowledge and support one another inside of a closed space. Organizers can publish member only messages to communicate directly within your community and manage events so that you can share and schedule meetups and track RSVPs into your user group events. User groups can also add custom branding through custom banners and location information, helping members quickly identify what communities are most relevant to them. And of course, members can follow groups and receive notifications about new discussions, blog posts, or announcements, and events that your community is supporting. So let's talk a little bit about how members will join a group. Joining a user group is pretty simple. First, you'll browse or search through the available user groups based on either technology interest, topic interest, or location. Next, open that user group and request to join. If it's a public user group, you'll be able to see discussions that are already there, blog posts, and upcoming events. If the group looks interesting, simply select join or select follow to become a member. Once you're joined, you'll be able to stay informed about new activities, participate in conversations, receive notifications, and RSVP for that user group's events. For public groups, joining is immediate and doesn't require any other approval process.
Yeah, and so Josh, I think that's quite an important bit at the end there because the user groups themselves, whenever somebody joins the user group, they automatically follow that space, and that means that they will receive updates from the group every time new content is posted, and the user can also control at what frequency that occurs through their community settings, so they don't get overwhelmed, and they can control, how regularly those updates come. Um,
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks for taking us through that. Now, what we're going to do is just speak about how we actually create user groups because it's not that complicated. I'm going to show you a demo here just now. You have to be logged into the tech community to create a user group. I've already logged in this case. If I wasn't logged in, there'd be a button up here that says sign in. And you can sign in with either your personal Microsoft account or your Entra account if you're working with an employer. So to create a user group, you go to Community and User Groups. On the next page, you will see this big button here. It says Create a New User Group. You give it a click. Here, it takes you at a very high level what the steps are going to be as you go forward. There'll be a small form you have to fill in. You have to agree to the user group code of conduct and then submit for review. So let's get started. Okay, so to create a new user group, this form is the base form for it. We usually recommend most groups have their own cover photo. I have created a handy one for our environment here. So let me just... Okay, this is going to be the Bellevue Seattle SharePoint group. In here, we put in the name of the group. You have to keep the name of the group less than 80 characters, and you'll get this handy help here that tells you how many characters you've used. Again, the description needs to be short. It's only about 100 characters you can put in here. There is an opportunity once you've created your group to actually provide some additional information. And you can also provide it in here. This bit, though, the group description, is what shows up to anyone who requests to join it. So keep it short, keep it to the point. You can actually see I've exceeded that here. And so what you'll find is if you try and go beyond 100 characters, it will actually cut it off. So we'll just get rid of the extra word at the end there. You don't have to provide additional group information at the outset, but if you did want to provide additional information, then it shows up to people once they've become members. So that's what the differentiation between those 2 points are. And obviously there's information buttons here that gives you an idea of what you put in this box. Again, this one has a limit of 250 characters. User groups can be virtual. That means that they're online and they don't necessarily have a physical meeting place, or they can be physical and you can put in where in the world they are. At the moment, this isn't connected to anything. We do have a future expansion plan to add a map to user groups, and that will be when the physical address obviously becomes relevant. We're going to leave it on virtual for now. And then down here, you've got the 3 board types. And this goes back to what Josh was saying earlier about what's inside a group. There's 3 different types of interactions. There's blogs, which are typically used for news. There's a discussion space, which is peer-to-peer discussions. And there's event spaces. It is required that every single user group must have at least a discussion space. Any user group which is submitted with only a blog or only an event space will ask some questions of you before it gets approved. So always start with a discussion space, and we're going to create all 3 on this one. Now, in these boxes, you'll see that they're called blog, discussion, and events. That's the default name. I would recommend that you change that to something a little bit more relevant for your group. And so I'm going to change the blog to Bellevue User Group News and Bellevue User Group Discussions and Bellevue User Group Events. And the reason for that is that as we go down, I mentioned earlier we were going to be adding analytics in the future. It'll be easier for you to identify your spaces from all the other spaces if you've got some sort of unique name in here. Here you can toggle the option to publish events to communitydays.org. This is an integration that we're in the process of releasing at the moment. Basically, when you toggle that to yes, then it means that at some point in the future, once that integration is enabled, anytime you publish an event in your user group, it will be automatically populated to the communitydays.org site. I'm going to leave it off for this time. The group owner is always the person who's creating it. And so you don't have the opportunity to change that. Can you have more than one group owner? Yes, but not for the creation process. Once the user group has been created, then you can have more owners added at that time. And then you would hit create group. So when you hit create group, it will go ahead and create the group. What happens then is you'll be notified that it's been successful and it'll be reviewed by our team usually within 7 days. If there's any questions, then we will contact you via the community to clarify anything that we need to know. And after that, your user group will be approved. Once it's approved, it will appear inside the user group homepage over here. We will send you a link to it. And you'll also be added to the Tech Community Group Owners Group Hub, which is a place where you can ask questions both of us as a team, but also of your fellow user group owners. If there's anything you're needing help with, you can post it in here. In terms of how members join a group, as I said, users come into the community, they go into the user group homepage, they see a group they would like to join. I'm going to pick one at random here. Let's join the Bangalore D365 user group. And you'll see that it says closed group because you have to be a member. They just hit the send request to join. Once the group owner has reviewed it and approved it, then they'll be able to access this user group. And that's it.
All right. Thanks, Alan, for that overview. What we really want to land here is 4 easy ways to go and start your own user group on the tech community. So, like you saw in the demo, we're going to start with just creating that new user group. So, you'll land on our user group page on Tech Community. You'll click Start New User Group. And then in step 2, you're going to give us all the information needed to set up that user group. So, the name of your group, any custom banner you'd like to have on there, your location metadata, and a cool, fun description about what your user group is for. Step 3, configuration and moderate. So we want to make sure that you have great setup for continued moderation, continued making sure your community is set up for success, enabling a healthy community. So that's where Alan was mentioning you can come back in and add additional moderators there, enable discussion areas, enable member only posts. And then fourth, launch and grow. So once you have all these established, publishing the community, inviting members, scheduling your first event, and starting conversations. We're part of the Scale team. We're deep in community. We love community. And one of the best things of community is connecting and collaborating as part of that community. So make sure you use these spaces, keep fresh content out there, and continue to invite folks back into it to experience what's next. So today we talked about creating user groups and joining user groups. Really simple and straightforward way of how to do both of these actions. You can land on our user group page for the tech community and browse user groups that are already existing, or create your own user group. If you need any help, feel free to ask us out in the community lounge. It's available on the user group page. So Alan, with that, man, I'm excited for what we have available for users out here in the user group community. We are part of the Scale team here at Microsoft, which one of our major initiatives is all around community, events, and encouraging that participation in these types of forums and via these mediums. So we just want to thank you for being a part of the tech community. We want to thank you for enabling your user groups on the tech community and encourage you to jump in and create your own. We look forward to you joining in the Microsoft Tech community and creating your own user group experience inside the Microsoft Tech community. Thanks again.